SMT Nation, we've got an interesting video here to share with you some stuff. My trip to the Cleveland Metroparks Zoo with my family, and I did some network testing. Of course, what else was I going to do before we did our little tour and our observations? It was a good time. It was really fun. It was on Father's Day, and Daddy's got in for free, so that was cool. Celebrated that. And then we saw all the animals. They had the aquarium. They had which they had some like indoor parts, right? They got like the primates, cats, and they go in and out, and elephants, everything. It was a great time. Anyways, I did some testing before we started, so I was out in the parking lot, and then I did some occasional testing while we were actually in the actual zoo. So I want to give you guys a little bit of a breakdown of what's going on here within this region of Cleveland. So this is in Cleveland proper. It's on the really near west side. It's not too far from downtown, just a few miles. All right, and here is some video footage taken with the Pixel 6 Pro, and this was Yasmin's favorite. The koalas, she loved them. She said this was the big brother, and that was the little brother. Anyways, it was a good time. It was fun. Uh, I want to share with you some testing. I tested each of the carriers in the parking lot where there were hundreds of cars and a lot of people. So I thought maybe it would be a good opportunity to do it and test all three major mobile network operators, the national carriers, LTE and 5G. All right, so to get things started, we've got a T-Mobile test here on your screen. This is the LTE test. All right, 67 ping, 17 millisecond jitter. We're at 13 megabits down. We're at 2 megabits up. This is a Magenta MAX line. This is a business enterprise account, Los Mobile Magenta, and not much going on there, right? A little bit on the slower side. You know, I would say it's probably slightly congested based on the ping and the jitter, but the signal doesn't seem great either. So it could just be that the signal wasn't very strong. All right, so the little little potential for some possible buffering of video if this was to drop any lower, and then with the uplink, that's going to be rough for video calls. It's going to be close. You might get some buffering or some intermittent connectivity. The video might get blurry, that sort of thing. So the LT not great, definitely not ideal in terms of the low band 5G, their extended range 5G, the N71, 600 megahertz. That actually was better. You will see that the signal improved. So I'm not sure what was bringing the LT connection down. 44 megabits down, 10 megabits up with a 55 ping and a 5 millisecond jitter. So the network clearly is not well optimized. Whatever this site is, maybe it's the distance. I'm not sure, but not too bad, right? So in this instance, it would be better to have a 5G phone. So say for example, you have an iPhone 11, right? You would probably get a similar score to what like the LT test showed. And if you have a 5G phone that has the 600 megahertz N71, you're going to get a much better experience. So this can do 4K video just fine. The uplink should be perfect for video calling and uploading content. Maybe not huge, massive video files like 4K videos, but if you wanted to do like a TikTok or a Snap or something, some kind of video footage, you could upload a short clip without much of an issue. All right, now I was able to connect to the 5G UC a little bit further up into the park or into the zoo, I should say. But it didn't perform great for latency. It was an 80 millisecond latency with a 6 millisecond jitter. But I was able to get some throughput there, 550 down, which is really, really good. That's tons of speed. And then 5 megabits on the up, which is not great. This trade off here is fierce. Lots of downlink, not much uplink. Now, it would be fine. Maybe this was a momentary thing. Maybe if I kept testing, I would have found something different. But just based on the signal strength here and from what I frequently see with T-Mobile's 5G UC, this is very characteristic. The downlink hangs on for quite a good, signal. And then as the signal starts to fade a little bit and the strength and weakens, the uplink pays the price. So that's that for T-Mobile. But again, I don't have any complaints. That would have held up just fine for most cases. What do we got here? This is Verizon. Okay, so starting with Verizon LTE. Now, Verizon is not just a macro-based network. They do tons of small cells. Verizon had a CBRS site literally across the street that runs up against the zoo. And you could see the signal strength is strong, and you will see the LTE speeds show a pretty good performance there. Not only did they have uh, a CBRS LTE site, small cell. But just around the end of the street, there's also millimeter wave nodes. In fact, one of the nodes had a sector facing the zoo, and I did connect to 5G ultra wideband millimeter wave in the zoo. All right, I for whatever reason though, it didn't back up to my Google Photos, so I have to try to retrieve it and then I can post it. But anyways, I did connect to it. But here's to get things started first with the LT for Verizon: 33 ping, 5 millisecond jitter, 101 down, 16 and a half up. So the LT for Verizon a little bit better than the T-Mobile LT, actually much better. That small cell really helping. So who knows where that T-Mobile site is? I have no idea. If it's a macro, it's probably at least a mile away. I can't remember passing any macros getting off the freeway off I-71. But Verizon doing some good things, shoring up some weak signals and adding more capacity with the small cells. All right. And then here is a second LTE speed test that once we got into the park and we were sitting down by the pavilion, the downlink speed's a little better, 191, and then the uplink a little bit less, so 4.52. Maybe this is momentary, I'm not sure. 81 ping, 14 jitter, that's not great, right? That ping's a little bit high, but that's just another test. And you will see that the signal actually decreased, so I'm not sure. Maybe just because I was further away from the small cell. And then their 5G test, no ultra wideband on this particular test. And the reason why I wanted to show you guys this is the DSS. This is N5, 850 megahertz low band 5G, 105 down, 33 up. Plenty good for most things that you got to do. Whatever video you got to consume, uploading would be great. 30 ping, 2 jitter. So a pretty consistent, steady uh, connection there. All right, so good stuff from Verizon, I think. Decent showing from T-Mobile so far. Their 5G much better than their LTE. For Verizon, pretty much the same. I guess the DSS showing some better uplink. Lastly, let's go to AT&T. All right, so a couple things I want to mention here with the AT&T testing. This is 5GE. That is essentially just LTE. 42 ping, 14 millisecond jitter. So ping maybe a little high, what we like to see. The jitter is there. That's, undesirable. 37 megabits down, just over 1 megabit per second up. The downlink is plenty good for most people. Not great, but it's fine. The uplink, very, very low. That could be an issue for any type of uploading. Even a video call could be compromised. I said the same thing about the T-Mobile uplink speed on the LTE side. So this kind of not having a small cell in the area really being problematic for both carriers. I think AT&T and T-Mobile falling susceptible to the same issues, right? And here is the 5G test. This is low band 5G, or not low band. This is N2. So that's band 2 DSS. It's a 20 megahertz channel split between LT and 5G. 42 down, 1 megabit up. So essentially the same performance as what we saw with the 5GE. 47 ping, 16 millisecond jitter. All right. So again, the downlink plenty for most people. The uplink leaves a lot to be desired. You look at the signal strength, it is low with just 2 bars or whatever. Look, I I'm not trying to say, there's a better way to do this networking thing. That all depends on the carrier, that all depends on the networking philosophy, whether you're macro based, if you're supplementing with small cells. Clearly, I think the best performer at the Cleveland Metroparks Zoo is Verizon. Both the LTE and the 5G DSS were plenty good. They had a small cell for CBRS LTE. They had nodes around the area when you pull up, when you pull in the parking lot, even when you're at the zoo on the western part of the property, had millimeter wave nodes. I I don't know why I couldn't find those photos. I really have to retrieve them, but it's Samsung gear. It's plenty fast. I mean, I got to give the cake to Verizon here at the Cleveland Metroparks Zoo. Even though the other two were fine and they worked, I don't remember having any issues while I was using them. Infrequently, I wasn't really. I mean, I was taking images, but I didn't really do much other than that, right? Um, so that's kind of what the experience was. I was testing on the iPhone 13 Pro, and you guys can see the time of the day. It's right at the start of the afternoon, and that was my experience there. Maybe some of you out there are from the Cleveland area, you've been to the zoo, and you have any of these carriers and you tested the network. Let me know if you found similar results. Let me know if you've seen some of the same experiences I've had. What do you guys think of the testing? Give me a rating for T-Mobile, give me a rating for Verizon, and a rating for AT&T. Let's do uh, bad, good, adequate, very good, however you want to describe it. I'd love to hear your evaluation of how they did there at the zoo. Go ahead and comment down below. You are the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard. Like, share, subscribe for more content like this. Also, check out the Twitter handle if you guys want to get more in tune with the community. Follow me on Twitter. My link is there. It's in the description box. Also, my Patreon page. If you want to support us and get early access to content and exclusive videos not found anywhere else, and business inquiries can be sent to the Gmail address in the description as well. Thanks for watching. See you all in the next video. Peace.